The Bushwick was created by a bartender named Phil Ward for a New York City bar named Amehla. We're gonna do 1/4 of an ounce of Amaro Lucano. So next thing we're gonna do is 1/4 of an ounce of Maraschino Liqueur. If you don't wanna use a Luxardo, use any brand you want. Well, there's also there's a brand that I'm very fond of I'm gonna go look for it now because it's like right in the middle of making a cocktail too. There's a brand that I really love that makes really, really good amaretto. Lazzaroni, they make really good maraschino, and actually somebody was like, you should use the maraschino from Lazzaroni because it's less bracing, which is what everyone's complaint about maraschino is that it's too bracing, it takes over the cocktail. And it can, I mean, it is like the Luxardo is pretty bracing, so we should probably get a bottle of that Lazzaroni and check it out because I can't remember if we've ever had one. 3/4 an ounce of sweet vermouth, we're using Carpano Antica. And because the Luxardo maraschino is so bracing, I wanted to use 100 proof rye. I brought out 100 proof Applejack for some odd reason, and I wanted to use a more robust vermouth so that we had more balance and less, you know, whatever, just drop the cap, that's cool. We're gonna do 2 ounces of our 100 proof rye. I'm gonna go find that cap because it's gonna bother me if I don't. Ugh. There's a lot going on in this video today. Oh, here it is. All right, crack the first cube, crack the second cube, crack that third cube. I'm gonna make sure that you have a good amount of ice, you know? So if you're not used to mixing cocktails in a mixing glass, or you're like new to this or whatever, and you don't quite know like if it's stirred down enough or you got the cocktail where you want it to be, you can always take a straw test to figure out where your dilution is, see where you're at. Especially if you're doing this at home, and you really don't know much about stirring cocktails, it's really helpful to straw taste all the way through the cocktail till you get it to where you actually want it, and then you kind of have a baseline for how much you need to stir. This guy gets no garnish. Cheers. The maraschino actually really nice in there, and it's nicely highlighted by the Lucano, which makes it bitter but not crazy. And then the sweet vermouth, you're getting the botanicals in the sweet vermouth, so you have a nice kind of complex flavor from there. And then you have a little bit of the spice from the rye. We're using Rittenhouse rye, and Rittenhouse rye is a higher corn rye. I like to call it like bourbon lover's rye. Because it's higher corn, you get less of that yeasty, bready rye flavor and a little bit more of the sweet corn. So it's just nice for people who like bourbons. It's a good gateway rye is what I call it, until you acquire the taste. People think that calling something yeasty and bready is like a negative thing, but in rye, I think it's actually a flavor that you look for.